And then Harari definitely is a blasphemer. And so there's a relationship between them. Can you see the number between them? That's the um, number of days between them. 5,317 from one leader's birth to a potential false prophet. There is a relationship. And remember that the devil turns everything upside down.
Oh, man.
What does that spell? Lies.
Yeah, it sort of seems to be your whole bag here, man. Lies. So stupid. I am Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So I found this guy. This guy cracks me up. Oh my goodness. He is like the most Trump. Like I thought Shane Vaughn was Trump obsessed. This guy makes Shane Vaughn look like he's just he's just a nobody. He just kind of likes Trump. That's what compared to this guy. This dude is finding numbers. He's got the yarn and he literally has like a map out where he's mapping out eclipses because he's finding the connections between Trump and the eclipses. It's amazing. So yeah, we're gonna check it out. His name's Steve something. I don't really care enough to whatever.
The Lord has sent me here to the United States a few times at very key critical moments, and they have coincided with the two eclipses, 2 out of the 3 great American eclipses. And I want to just show you that and remind you about how this eclipse has put a mark on the continental United States, put an X right over it. So the first one came in August 21st, 2017, and just days before that, I was standing.
So a lot of this is, all right, so I just want to get y'all ready for what's about to happen here. This is all about pattern recognition, right? And if you set out to look for, and data mining, really, if you set out to find a particular pattern and you plug in the right, the type of information, we have Google, we have like unlimited access to information. You can find connections in just about anything if you look for long enough. It depends how dedicated you are, which is kind of why it's always associated with people kind of like losing their minds, because you're always going to be able to find these connections if you look long enough, and if you're not doing well mentally, you'll just keep looking until you find stuff. And then your confirmation bias will keep telling you that you're finding things that are significant, right? Which obviously isn't true. You're just confirming your bias. You're just, oh man, I'm finding a pattern. And then your brain keeps on going, oh yeah, you're finding it. Look, there it is. You found it, No, man, you're just finding connections and things that are unrelated, but are acting like they are somehow, in order to come to some crazy conclusion about a magical prophecy or something. Because it's always tied to magic like that. It's never just like, oh, that's funny. That's an interesting little thing. No, it's always, a prophecy for Trump to take over the world or whatever, which I'm sure these people want. I'm just saying, I think they do want that. But so let's let them get back into it. But keep in mind, that's what's happening here.
There in Houston, Texas, announcing it just literally hours and a few days after that. The place where I was completely flooded by the worst natural, costliest disaster in the United States. And I said, this is not a good omen. I often wondered, well, why didn't the Lord tell
The disaster was not a good omen. He's like, it's not good. Storms that destroy everything. That's not good. That's like a bad omen. That's a big bummer. That's what that is. I'm going to log that away as a cosmic bummer.
Tell me exactly where it was going to be. He put me there, and that's a prophetic thing, isn't it? Isaiah says that, behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me, we are for signs and for wonders. So the very presence of a prophet often announces something. It's a prophetic thing.
So just be in there. That's it. Yeah, I got it, man. So just the fact that you're there, isn't that convenient? He's like, I was there too. So that has, that's pretty significant right there. All right. That could not have possibly happened without, the magic part of it, like, of course you're going to go to a place and be like, well, first of all, I was there. So that was pretty special. Second of all, and then what? Okay.
But I was kind of disappointed that I didn't know exactly where it was. And I said that, well, The one in 2024 is coming in April. That's just months away. And it's going to make an X right over the Madrid fault line. And we should be looking to some event, like an earthquake or something.
So because the moon is going over a particular place, or like I don't even know how that really makes sense. But apparently, I guess I did look it up, and they do say that it maps it out, and it does show that same image, right? And that's where he pulled it from. He pulled that image, and I think all he did was go Google, this time or this place, at this time or whatever, just plug in like numbers. And then I'm sure like at that place came up like, oh, this is, these are all on the same trajectory as the eclipses or something. And then he just implemented that into his little prophecy here, because it's like, why would eclipses have to do with literally anything? You know what I mean? Like, well, what is that? Okay, who cares? But because it was in the place that he was in, he thinks that that's a magical sign. But when you're not doing well upstairs and don't understand critical thinking, everything is a sign. You know what I mean? Everything.
And we should be looking to some event, like an earthquake or something else that shakes the land in that Mississippi Madrid fault line region.
Okay, so he just gave us a prophecy, right? He just said, oh man, we should be looking for an earthquake or something that shakes that area, So he basically just went and was like, okay, there's an actual thing, an actual event that we should be looking for. But if we don't find that actual event, if the earthquake thing doesn't happen or whatever, then just anything that shakes it up, and that could be metaphorical. That could be a metaphorical shaking it up. Maybe Trump shook it up there. He said something there that shook everybody up. Boom, prophecy. What? Like, that's the type of stuff they could do. And you can hear him giving himself the out right out the gate because he knows this isn't going to happen. It's so stupid.
But we got more revelation this year because we found out it's not just 2, but it's 3 great American solar eclipses. We say great because it crosses the continental United States. And it makes this pattern. Now, you've seen this on YouTube. I've shown this. It makes this a left or an A. And what now it tells us is that with that third line, it's right there. Texas is right there. X marks the spot.
Which one?
We just needed the third line.
This text. What are we doing here? All right, I'm trying to keep up. So this line in Texas, got it. That's the one he's talking about. Not this over here, not that up there. Just this one right here. Okay, got it. Because you gotta pick the right options. When you're looking for patterns places, you can't pick the other X anyway.
To be able to see that, yep, there's where the Lord sent me to announce that this is an omen, a final warning to the United States.
I'm sorry, but you just don't sound threatening enough, man. If this guy shows up and he's like, I'm going to give you one more warning, I'm serious. This is the last time I'm warning you about. You better back up Trump, okay? You got it. He's our he's the country's savior, okay? I'm warning you. Not very threatening, man. Well, not very convincing. You're gonna have to try something else. I don't know. Maybe put on a leather jacket, comb your hair back.
We know that, well, it looks like something is going to happen in Oregon or Washington. There's another X there. And then
looks like something is going to happen. Okay, man. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Got the Madrid fault line and the Mississippi right there where it parts. So we're looking at 3 different things there. Now, these things are related to President Donald Trump.
Really?
And a lot of you have heard that Donald J. Trump was born on June 14, 1946.
Wow. Okay. So now we're going into Trump's birthday. Okay. So y'all got to keep up. Okay. Now we're the eclipses, they have those lines that they leave all over the country, and then they intersect in different places. And one of the places that they intersect is in Texas. So keep an eye on that. Another thing is that Trump was born on a day that's very significant, which is June 14th, 1946. So we're gonna play with those numbers next, I guess. All right, here we go. Ready?
And I have that written there. I have a reason for that,
good?
because on that, counting from that day, right, to his inauguration, he was 70 years, 7 months, 7 days old.
What? Okay, counting from his inauguration, right? So they have to add some, and then they're dividing. See, this is the type of fun you can have with math if you're insane. You know what I mean? You can just start breaking up the numbers into other numbers, right? Like just like 70 years, 7 months, 7 days, you know. And I would bet I'm not going to go back and do the fucking math, but I would bet money that there's some kind of liberty taken here. You know what I mean? I bet you it's like 70, 1 year or something. We're like, well, that year doesn't count. That's the year for the first year, like something like that. You know what I mean?
That said,
Even still, even if it isn't that, it doesn't matter. This is like the type of coincidental stuff that happens constantly. Numbers come up all the time. There's only 10 of them. Okay. When you're talking like 1 to 10, right? And those same numbers repeat over and over and over again. That's how numbers go. You know what I mean? So yes, patterns are constantly going to come up with numbers. They just are a big pattern. That's what they are. So they're a pattern created out of whole cloth for us to be able to understand the world better. Yeah, you can play with them quite a bit, especially if you're dishonest. I don't trust this guy at all to actually be giving us true information here. He could just say stuff like this. Nobody's going to check. No one in his audience. I'm not even going to check. And I don't believe him. I want to prove him false more than anybody, but I'm not going to go through, do all this nonsense. It's ridiculous. Making me do math. No, I don't do math. Okay. To prove you wrong. I'll call up Ember if I need to do math.
70 years, 7 months, 7 days old. That 777 is a marker. It's a sign from heaven that he's chosen by God.
Wow. This is a perfect example of why we have to have a separation of church and state. You can't have these people with these mega platforms. This dude's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers on his YouTube channel, which I don't understand how. He's got the personality of a wet blanket and sounds like he's just lying or wrong. Just out the gate. Like, even if I was a Christian, I'd be like, this guy's lying or wrong for some reason. I don't know why, but he just is. He's one of the two. But yeah, you can't have pastors getting up on stage and saying that a politician is chosen by God. That's just way too manipulative. It's basically like saying, hey, all of my congregants, you out there, if you don't vote for the person I tell you to vote for, you're going to hell. How is that? How can we have fair democracy when we have pastors threatening their congregations with hell if they don't vote in the way that they want them to? This is exactly the problem with religion. It hijacks democracy, And I mean, this is why we have to keep it separate. We can't have a free and fair elections with people brainwashing people into cults of politicians. This is so dangerous. It's unreal how dangerous it is. Just finding this channel was enough to be like, holy shit, we're in trouble. This country's in trouble. If this kind of thing can happen this easily, well, I give us 10 fucking years. I give us 10 years before we're fucking eating each other because of cult leaders taking over the country and brainwashing our fucking our populace. However, I will say that's the negative end of the spectrum of my prediction. However, I will say the kids these days, they're smart. They're a lot smarter than we were. They grew up with the internet. We didn't have the internet growing up, and neither did any of the people older than myself, which I'm a millennial, right? And I struggled with the internet. I got into conspiracy stuff. I, was completely media illiterate And it got me in some pretty weird places mentally as far as like conspiracies go, right? But these kids that are coming up, they were raised with the internet, so they know how the noise works, right? And they know how to figure out if something is true or not because they've been raised throughout the noise, so they know how to like check to see if something is true or not. We, the older generations, I would say millennials and older, a lot of times, especially conservatives, because this is just the way conservatives think, is they just want to confirm their own bias, right? So they're constantly just trying to find information that confirms what they'd already like to think. They're very dishonest with themselves. Now they'll sit there and say, "Oh no, I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning everything. I'm going with the evidence." But they're just going with the evidence that sticks to what they want the evidence to be in the first place, right? And they got plenty of ways they can do that. The Daily Wire really does provide a diaspora of bullshit that they can pick from, of bad takes and bad spinning, so that they can tell these conservatives what they want to hear all the time. Because that's what happens. That's what I think separates conservatives from someone like myself, is a skeptic. I'm just a skeptic. I just want to know what's true. You know what I mean? And I don't have any automatic problems with any demographics of people. That's sort of it. Like when I start with my political stances, I don't have any like unreasonable or irrational hatred towards any groups of people, right? I don't hate the queer community. I don't hate the black people. I don't hate, anything like that. So and I just want to know what's true. And I'm honest with myself about the evidence, right? That's whatever side that is, that's the side I'm on. You know what I mean? So which tends to be Democrat, right? That's just sort of how that works. Conservatives just want to find what they want to believe. They just want to look for the information that tells them what they want to hear, because that's why religion is such a tool that's used to manipulate these people into conspiracies and voting, other further right-wing causes, right? Because they're already starting from a bad epistemology. They're already starting from, hey, I go to church every week because I'd really like it if I could go to a magical amusement park in the sky with my family for all eternity. And I'd love it if all those people that I don't like would go to a bad place where they get tortured for all eternity. I'd really love it if that were the case. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and believe that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That kind of epistemology is real easy to hijack, and that's what this sort of situation is. It's a hijacking of that bad epistemology. And you can just take it out to its logical conclusion, which is just conspiracy land. At the end of that rabbit hole, you end up with like reptilian, humanoid, whatever nonsense. That's at the end of those rabbit holes, which is why it's so important that we promote critical thinking and good media literacy.
So, as you go a bit further, you also find out that 7 months.
Oh, he's got a paper. He's on unraveling the paper. Huh, look at that. Okay, what's he's got? So he's got Trump at the top, of course. Trump's got to be on top. He's not a power bottom. He's a power top. And he's got the June 14th. Okay, so and the age is 70 years, 70 months, 70 days. Okay, 77. We got it. 7 months later. 7 months later.
After the inauguration, that first solar eclipse was triggered.
Boom. There's the connection to the solar eclipse. You wondered how the solar eclipses came into it? Boom. That's it. Because it's a 7 of a thing after the last 7 of the thing, even though there's only supposed to be 3 7s. You're already out of your element, man. You can't just be adding 7s. That's 7, 7, 7, 7. That's too many 7s. So it couldn't possibly. Come on, man. Keep up with the numerology thing. You're not doing it right. Not doing the numerology thing right. Come on, be better. That's all I'm asking. Okay.
So 7 is all over President Donald Trump. Right. So why does God give signs?
Well, that's about the only one that's all over Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway,
is to assure you, because you're going to go through some storms. A lot of times you might be like, well, I wish the sun and the moon gave signs that relate to my life, but that's
Who says that? Is somebody say that? Other than people that are into astrology, who says that? You know, I really like it if I could look to the moon and the sun and be like, what do you guys think is going on in my life? Should I date that lady or what? I should. Well, the moon said I should. The sun is kind of indifferent. So I think I'm going to go with what the moon says. Yeah. What? What are you talking about, man?
Almost certainly a warning that you're going to go through some rough patches. And God's trying to give you an assurance that you're going the right way. Now, God also gives us some signs about the other side. And I've never shown this before, so I want you to pay attention to this. And I just drew it out. No one in the world has ever seen this before. This would be a great thing to show.
Wow, this guy really thinks this is like main character syndrome, like crazy. He's like, I've never shown anybody in the world this nonsense before, so buckle up. Buckle. I'm going to have to start providing seat belts in our congregation seats because, whoa, this is going to blow you away. All right.
To the very first service at General Mike Flynn's recording studio. This is awesome.
Oh my God. Of course it's it. General Flynn's not a General Flynn's recording studio. Okay. All this makes a lot more sense now. If I was confused before, I am not now.
This, I hope you can catch it in the camera, but Obama was born August 6, 1961.
Okay.
And you know that we've spoken about Yuval Noah Harari as a blasphemer, as a great blasphemer.
Okay, so I did a little bit of checking on this dude, the Harari guy, and apparently they're like really afraid of him because he, I guess, works with the World Economic Forum. He has a doctorate in philosophy. He's written a bunch of books. As far as I understand, I think it's like there's like some anthropology books in there about like sapiens and just like development of human stuff. I don't know. But it seemed like it was very like it was very scholarly, So the dude's a scholar. I'm not really sure, what anything else about him. He didn't really seem like much to me. Just a guy that's written a couple books, but these people are really freaked out by him because he's Jewish, first of all, and he's a secular Jewish person, so he's not not doing the religion thing that they want him to do. And he works in the World Economic Forum trying to kind of like, solve some world problems. Is really what it is. It's just a big group of people, the investors and stuff that want to try to make the future a better place than the past kind of thing. But of course, because it's world and it's economic and it's a forum, they freak out and they're like, oh, it's the end of the world. It's the Antichrist, yada, yada, yada. So, so that's who this guy is, this Harari. So now what he's done is he's taken Obama's birth date, right? And then this Harari guy's birthday. So he just basically took two people that he doesn't like, and then went and added up the days in between their birth dates, and that's where we're at right now. So let's just keep up, okay? I know this is complicated stuff. It's
who mouths off against God.
What?
Very anti-Torah, anti-Bible, and very pro.
Both anti-Torah and anti-Bible. That's pretty. Whoa. Okay.
Homosexual and very pro.
What?
AI.
Did he say he's very homosexual? Hold on, let me make it back.
God, very anti-Torah, anti-Bible, and very pro homosexual and very pro AI.
Okay, AI, pro homosexual. It's funny when they do that, when they're like, oh, they're pro homosexual. By that they mean he just doesn't hate gay people. Like that's it. Like he's just not, like he just doesn't think that they deserve to be tortured for all eternity. That's it. And that makes you pro gay people. That's how that goes. You're like, I am extra for the gay people. Like what? No, he just doesn't hate gay people. That's it. Simple as that. But apparently he likes AI too. Let me go back.
AI, and he thinks that we're going to transcend what God has done, and humans are going to, leave the shackles that God has placed on us in his mind.
Okay, so what he's referring to there is just like it was a predictions kind of thing that the World Economic Forum did, and these conspiracy idiots have run with it, and it's just like a set of predictions, of like what it's going to be like in like 30 years. It's not, they didn't say that they were going to force this in like, try to force this to happen. They were just saying this is what we predict given our technology and everything else, and the directions that we seem to be going, economically and technologically. This is possibly what it's going to be like. This is what it looks like to us. It was kind of what happened. Well, part of that was, this guy talking about this Harari dude talking about how the what's it called? The it's like transhumanism, except it's like the singularity or whatever, where you upload your brain into a computer, and then you exist inside the computer forever or whatever, you know what I mean? And then we're all just in this mainframe or whatever, you know what I mean? Kind of an interest. I think there was a movie about it with Johnny Depp or something. But that's what he's talking about here. And of course, these people freak out. They can't handle it. It's too much for them, It's so funny.
So his birthday is interesting. It's February 24, 1976.
That is interesting. In February, you say. Weird. There's a RU in that month name. You know that? February. That is interesting, right?
So he's younger than me, but really been pumped up.
What?
His books, they're everywhere. And they're not that good. I've leafed through them, and they're very so-so. They're full of errors and deception, but they're really pumping him up.
Okay, that sounds a little bit like your jelly, buddy. Okay, he's like, these books are doing much better than mine, and he's younger than me. This is bullshit because I'm better than him, but he's being pumped up by the devil. That's what that is. He's got the devil bumping, just behind him with a bike pump, just bumping him up. That's what's happening. That's why my book isn't doing as good. It's about sucking Trump's. About a Trump prophecy.
So why did I put Obama and Harari together? Well, you know that there's a prophecy that Obama is going to trigger a war in the Middle East.
I did know that. Yeah, I think don't we all know about the Obama prophecy? And this is just, everybody knows about this, right? This is common knowledge, right? I think it was on the cover of the New York Times, right? They did a big piece, and it wasn't an opinion piece. It was a fact piece. All right, so.
That will be against Israel. So people are looking, is he an antichrist or the antichrist?
That's what I was wondering too. I know you guys were thinking it too. When is it going to come? All right, everybody drink. They said antichrist, go.
I don't think he is, but I think that he's being used in some negative ways, right?
Probably connected to the antichrist by like a 6 digit or something, right? There's some 6 thing, right? I guess you know what you should do? Look up everybody that was born exactly 6 anything since, from when that guy was born, and then that is the antichrist. Am I right? I mean, that's how this works, right? No?
And then Harari definitely is a blasphemer.
Oh, yes.
And so there's a relationship between them. Can you see the number between them? That's the number of days between them. Yeah. 5,317. From one leader's birth to a potential false prophet. There is a relationship. And remember that the devil turns everything upside down.
Whoa, bro. What? It doesn't say boobies. What the you did it wrong, man. You're not supposed to say give me the calculator. You're doing it wrong, man. God, come on. Be better at this. Wow. That's fascinating. This is a fascinating one for me, man. I love the pattern recognition gone completely mad. It's awesome. So this is an easy one. And it's funny how this type of stuff, especially with Google, like we have Google, and this is not hard to do. All you got to do is put in that number, and then try to find that number anywhere. right? And look how far he had to go before he could find that number. He had to like connect Obama based on his birth date, right? Not his inauguration. I guess that doesn't matter. That date doesn't matter. But that's another number he could have used. He could have used any number. That's the thing. And then he connects it to this Harari guy, you know, and goes with his. But oh, there's the number I was looking for. Okay, you know, because it spells lies upside down. If you start from that, you can find this so easy. This is not hard. You know, it's so funny that this is impactful to these people that they're just like, whoa, that says lies upside down. That must mean that this guy isn't insane and is actually a prophet. And that means that Trump's going to take over the world in a good way. In a good way. He's not the Antichrist. Could not possibly be the Antichrist. It's the Jewish guy, right? That's who he's got to be. Oh my God.
What does that spell? Lies. That's what unites them together.
That's what
lies.
Unites them together. How do we know that the lies isn't like what you are doing right now, man? Maybe when you flipped it upside down, here's what happened. He flipped it upside down and he was like, oh man, that says, well, yeah, it's because I am kind of lying right now. I know, God, but I'm going to pretend you didn't show me that, God. I'm going to say that the lies are what connect Obama and Harari. Okay. That's quit trying to make me feel guilty that I'm just making stuff up here, God, with your little flipping the numbers upside down to spelling lies. I'm gonna use that, for my little prophecy thing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Only God can do something like that.
Yeah, or just pattern recognition and a lot of time.
So you've seen that with Donald Trump. You see that with Obama. And since we're in General Mike Flynn's studio, I thought I'll do one for him. All right. I hope he's watching.
What does that mean? We're going to do one for him. So in other words, he just takes the people, plugs their name, their birthdays into like Google or whatever, and then like looks for connections. Is that what? See, this is so easy.
So General Mike Flynn was born December 24th, 1958. And recently we shared the stage. He invited me to the Miami Reawakening event. And we met each other on October 14, 2023, which for me, it's obvious, right? This is a prophetic day. This is the second great American solar eclipse.
Oh, back to the eclipses again. That's right. Okay, I was going to say the 14th of what? Well, okay, why? Like what? Because it's 2 weeks into the month. That's 2 sevens. Never mind. We went to totally different direction with the solar eclipse. Got it.
Did not know that. The people in the audience I asked did not know that. A lot of the people on stage did not know that, but God knew. So God had Pastor Steve come on exactly the second great American solar eclipse. Just
keep in mind, he's Pastor Steve. He's calling himself Pastor Steve.
It's like he had me come to Texas on the first one. So what's the big deal about that? Well, General Mike Flynn might not know that on that day, he was 777 months old, 7 plus 7 plus 7 days.
It was a 7 plus 7 days. That's awesome. That is awesome. 7 and 7 months. Like this is the number 23. If the number was actually 7, because again, there's only 10 numbers, man. There's just 1 through 10. Do you know how often 7's going to come up? 1 out of 10. Like, that's how numbers go, man. Like, the odds are so good for you being able to do this, man. It's incredible. Now, of course, and you got even more leeway if you're talking about months and stuff like that, because then you can section it off in different ways. There's so many different ways to play with numbers. They're literally just symbols that we can use to measure things and stuff like that. Like they really, they're very malleable. It's amazing, actually.
Just like Trump.
Just like
There's
Trump.
Something going on that God says, I've chosen you. There's a mark of completion, a mark of perfection and completion in what I want to do through you. And when he does things like that, usually it means it's going to be tough. It's going to be rough going. But
my completions are usually pretty great. I actually like completion. You know what I mean? I try to make it so that she completes first and then I will complete afterwards. That way that we can both complete together, sort of. And if you want to complete together, go to adamandeve.com and put in Brent. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout for 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. That's Brently. That's my name. And get your exclusive offer. Get your butt some stuff. Get all the people who's like that needs to complete butt stuff. Because I'm telling you, you have not completed until you have done it with butt stuff. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. It's phenomenal. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley. That's Brently at checkout. It does have discreet packaging as well. So you don't have to worry about that. So if you live with your mom, that won't be awkward at all. If she doesn't, just don't let her open it. Okay. That'll take a lot of explaining. And it's not like a bong. You can't just turn it into a lamp. Okay. It's not that simple. All right. It's going to be a lot more complicated. That's not mine. That's Steve's down the street. Yeah, he wanted me to get it for him. But yeah, if you want to support the show in some other ways, just go to patreon.com/Punk Apostate. Always putting up new stuff, or I do my best to anyway. A lot of it comes in big chunks. I save up a bunch of stuff and then boom, then drop it all in there. So every couple of weeks you'll get some pretty big drops in there. So if you want some extra stuff, head to patreon.com/Punk Apostate and sign up for just as little as $1 a month. It's really cheap. I make it really affordable because I know how much I love being a patron to some of the Puzzle and a Thunderstorm shows and Cognitive Dissonance and others. So I try to make it as affordable as possible. The other thing you can do is if you want to just give a one-time payment, we really appreciate that. At Cash App is what we use for that, and our cash tag is Punk Apostate. So if you just want to donate that way, I will always thank you on the stream by name. If you want, I try to sometimes I try to just say the first name in case it's like a both first and last type of situation, so I'm not doxing you or something. Like this guy gives the atheist shows. He's a bad guy, no, I'm just kidding. But so go to cash tag and enter that, enter our cash tag Punk Apostate and donate whatever you can. Anything helps. I really appreciate it. So, but hey, the main thing though is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time.